Well, man of the people, I got a question. Are you ready for rapid fire?
I'm always ready for rapid fire, especially a spring break version of rapid fire. So,
True story.
been waiting all day for this. Like, it's funny that my whole day has revolved around this show. It's like, well, I'm not doing anything, but I have a show at 5.
Yeah.
Like, the whole day has revolved around this. So I'm
Got
ready.
in early, ready to go. The
Yeah.
whole thing.
Early for me, anyway.
Fill in the blank. Guerby Lambert being out until sometime in the fall after surgery to repair a shoulder labrum is blank.
It's disappointing for me. It's devastating for him because I think it moves his timeline a little bit because it just said in the fall. Like, does that mean ready for fall practice? Does that mean in the middle of the season? Like, they were very vague about a timeline, and I get it. It's April. Like, I understand it. But it's devastating, man, because, again, my perfect offensive line, he's in it. And I was really hoping that he'd be able to compete for one of those tackle spots. And I don't think that's going to be the case because I don't think he's going to be ready for fall camp.
That's what I can't see him only 3 months from now after having the labrum repaired.
Is that the same thing that Jagasaw had last year?
No, Jagasaw was torn pectoral, and he might have had a little bit of labrum as well.
Okay.
But I mean, the labrum is basically the band that holds your shoulder together. And if that's torn and they've got to do that, that means like no lifting. Like he's not going to be able to lift.
Strong. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be a while before he's ready to lift. Yeah. So he's going to lose a lot of strength. He's going to have to gain it back. And I can't see him, and again, like this comes from someone I've had both of my labrums done before. So I've been through the whole thing in terms of, like what it takes to, to get back up to strength after that. I can't see him being anywhere approaching like even 80% until somewhere like midway through the season.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean he might not be able to get out there and do something, but that also means, like going back to what we were talking about earlier in the first segment about the offensive line and the fact that they had a makeshift offensive line. Well, if you don't have Guerby Lambert, like Emil Wagner is still in uniform, but he's barely practicing. I wonder if we'll see any of him in the blue gold game on Saturday. It doesn't seem like it because it's basically been like he's in uniform, but we haven't seen him do anything this spring. But like Guerby Lambert was going to be in the mix for one of those jobs. And so like you have to wonder now, does Charles Jagasaw stay at guard like he's been all spring, or is he back in play now as a left tackle potentially? And obviously, or do you just put Anthony Knapp back out there again? Like there's a lot of questions that they'll be going into fall training camp with after this.
Yeah, it is. And I think the preference is that he stays at guard. I think he wants to go to tackle. So who wins out on that battle? You know what I mean? As far as what position he's going to be playing. And it's disappointing because he is just your prototypical tackle body going into his sophomore year. Everybody wondered why he wasn't getting any opportunities his freshman year. He just wasn't ready mentally. But you were hoping that light would come on for sophomore year, and now he's got this injury to deal with. So it just stinks. It just stinks.
Yeah. Absolutely stinks big time. Tommy, yes, I did start your other question about the bracket. So we'll touch on that here in a little bit when we get to some basketball
rough for me
talk. Other than quarterbacks, Vince, who stood out to you the most watching Saturday's practice?
Well, I mean, Elijah Burris looked great. He had a lot of opportunities in this scrimmage, got a lot of balls thrown his way, mainly because the great one was being bracketed an awful lot. And they kind of took him out of the game, right? And that's what you do as a defense, right? You take out the potential best player.
It was amazing how many times I wrote down 16, like at least being targeted out there. And obviously the touchdown.
And he made a lot of plays. He had one bad drop, obviously, but he overcame that and had the big catch of CJ Carr's touchdown pass at the end of the scrimmage and of practice. But he stood out. Like I had never seen him play, obviously, before, and he definitely stood out.
Greathouse was not out. He was out there.
Was not out. He was.
Faison was out because he was playing lacrosse, but Greathouse was out there.
Yeah, Greathouse was out there the entire time, and they were bracketing him the entire time. There was a safety over the top of Greathouse every single play. So, but yeah. I thought Elijah Burris looked really good. And again, it's going to be kind of a Michael Gilbert type of situation where, you can step up in spring because the numbers are down and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Will he be able to parlay that into something in the fall where he's
Yeah.
part of the rotation?
I mean, that's
I'm
going to
not betting
be
the house on that.
but it's going to be a lingering question. What happened to Burris?
Oh,
Why isn't he out there more? He had such a great spring
100%.
and everything else.
Yes,
But I
100%.
mean, you're going to get Malachi Fields, and you got, Will Pauling, obviously, and you got Greathouse, and you got Faison. I mean, that's 4 guys you can count on right there. And really, like, I could see Burris potentially,
It's possible.
maybe, getting into that,
Yeah.
top
And
6.
it definitely helps that Micah Gilbert's out with the finger, and
Mhm.
not being able to practice, right? Cam Williams looked good, things of that nature. But, I think there's going to be some real competition to get into that rotation for the first time in a while, like real competition.
And I wonder, because again, like CJ Carr threw it to KK Smith a few times. And again, with some close coverage, Smith was holding on to the football. So maybe he ends up kind of being a part of that mix as well. Again, like looking forward to Saturday to, just to see what some of that looks like, a continuation, I think. Mine was Jalen Sneed, though. Like, and it started like right off the bat, like that play that he read where he made that tackle for loss. Yeah. And I mean, he came at it out of the will, and he just looks like, again, like the anticipation, like he knew right away what his key was, what his read was, and he was on top of that.
Yeah.
In a hurry. And we just saw some very good consistent play from Jalen Sneed. And I think that's like a really good sign as well, like especially considering how his career started, kind of going back to what we were just talking about, like people clamoring for so long for more Jalen Sneed, and he's really putting it together right now.
He's getting an opportunity too, because he was out there starting.
Yeah.
Which I never really thought would happen, if I'm being honest, right? I always thought he was going to kind of change
Just
pace
be a
guy,
role
a third
player.
down guy, role player guy. We'll see what happens once we get to the fall. But he was out there as a starter, and putting on that extra weight. Maybe that helps him out a heck of a lot more. You know what I mean? So, I thought that was good.
Joe said, "I'm biased to the linebackers." Come on, man. Come on.
See, everybody's got their biases.
That's right.
Everybody's got them.
All right, so we do have the Blue Gold game this Saturday, and it's going to have a little bit different look. Here's Marcus Freeman on that.
To the game, okay, we'll have 4 15-minute quarters. All right, the first half we'll treat as normal, and the second half will be a running clock based on head coach's discretion. If it's close like we want it to be, we will use a normal clock probably in the last 2 minutes or somewhere in the fourth quarter. Okay, we will open the game with a live kickoff.
You know what? That is not. I don't know how, but that is from a year ago. I don't know how that got in there.
Look at you.
Interesting.
Saving audio from a year ago.
Again, I have zero idea how that got in there, but that's an old one. Because, like, if you looked at the photo of that, that was old.
You named it MF Blue-Gold, by the way.
Yeah. Hang on just a second. I can solve this here very quickly. It's just going to take a second.
It's all good.
I'm in my iMovie, and I'm putting this together here real quick. So hang on just a second.
You can get stuff out of iMovie that fast. I'm impressed.
Well, they're short clips, so they're.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. I'm usually doing like 40 to an hour off of iMovie. It takes a little longer.
The fact that it's a short audio clip, with a cover photo, makes it a lot easier.
That's a good point. Yeah, no process. Video, like legit quickly. Video. Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. Right. You win.
That's right. So you win. Little delay there, and
we can answer that question actually.
Here we go.
And say that like the spring game format will be similar to what you saw today. It will be offense versus defense. We won't do a draft like we have in the past because of numbers. We don't have the ability to truly have 2 complete offense and defenses and feel like it's going to be what's best for our program. So we will go offense versus defense for the spring game and score it in a way kind of like we scored it today, something that our guys are familiar with. But we'll find a way to make it competitive, but it'll be great to see those guys compete.
No blue gold draft this year. That's a little bit disappointing after they had,
I like the draft.
done
People
that.
hated it. I liked it.
DK
that's fine.
hated the draft.
You're going to hate watching this offensive line too. So,
Whew, man. But I mean, he's saying it's going to be a pretty similar format to what we were watching, the way they were rotating guys, it sounds like, on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's going to look a lot different.
It's going to look a lot different. And what are we going to be able to take from it? I don't know. Like, it's going to be interesting from the blue gold game. I think based on numbers, it makes sense that they're doing it this way. And you're going to see more good on good, which I think is also a good thing. So as much as I say I like the draft for the blue gold game because I don't care about the blue gold game, like it doesn't mean anything to me. I think you're going to see people taking more out of the blue gold game now than they ever have in the past couple of years because it is the first team offense against the first team defense. So.
Yeah, exactly. And it's pretty much just going to be, as Brian is saying, pretty much like an open practice.
Correct.
Is what it's going to be. I wonder what this is going to look like from a TV perspective. I mean, like he didn't even say, I wonder if they're even like what kind of clock they're even going to have. Like, will they even do it in quarters? Like,
that's a great question.
I'm really curious to see what this looks like out there.
That's a great question. Yeah.
I still am baffled at how I had a cut from a year ago, like where that came from.
I'm impressed. You see, you must not have cleared it out. You got a lot of stuff on your computer.
I've deleted a lot of stuff here recently too. Somehow that managed to live. As soon as he started talking, I was like, that's not what he said on Saturday.
I was like, wow, okay, we're gonna do 4 quarter. All right.
I know. Craig says, see any kick returners or punt returners at practice? We saw a little bit of special teams. You were upstairs. I know Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love were both out there.
Yep. So was the new kid, number 2. Will Pauling was out there.
Yeah.
It was 4 total. I'm trying to remember. I have it written down on my notebook, but my notebook's upstairs, so that does us absolutely no good. I can go run and get it if you want me to.
All right.
But it was 4 guys. It was a very quick period. It was,
and again, it's spring. A lot is subject to change between now and then.
They were kicking off from like the 50-yard line. So I mean, it was a shortened version of a kickoff. They were just kind of going, and it was all like walk-on type guys that were the kick return team. They were the ones wearing the vests and stuff like that. So it was just kind of not going through the motions, but they were just kind of going through the motions. I mean, that's really what it was.
Just kind of seeing the kicks in the air and that kind of stuff.
Correct. Yeah. We didn't see a lot of special teams.
They started with some of the special team stuff for like 1 or 2 periods, and then that was it the rest of the way.
Yeah, the one field goal we saw wasn't great. So
decaf, absolutely. The quarterbacks will definitely be wearing red jerseys Saturday. You won't have to worry about it.
You don't want any of those 3 guys getting hurt. I mean, there's no...
They're vying for the starting job. It's all going to be touch football with those guys.
Correct. And one guy got into the face of Angeli at one point, kind of hit him high, kind of on the chest, and Freeman laid into him pretty good. It was a freshman, incoming freshman, and he got Angeli pretty good, and he heard about it.
Didn't do it again.
No. In fact... He told his Uber driver about it. He got yelled at so much. I do know that for a fact. So, because I know said Uber driver who called me. So he was talking about it. Because I got a text. He was like, did Angeli get smoked in this? I was like, I don't remember him getting hit. And then I remembered that penalty that they threw. And it wasn't like but he got touched.
Uber driving. Might have to look into that. Interesting.
They can get a lot of information from Uber drivers. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
From players.
Yeah. Werewolf wants to know who's going to get the Junior Jabby award. Basically the big time spring guy.
Jabby. Well, I mean, if Saturday was the spring game, then that goes to Isaiah Dunn. He would have gotten the player of the game with his interception.
Yeah. We might have to save some of the Junior Jabby predictions. That's a good one. Good category for Friday's show. Junior Jabby predictions. Jesse and I made our spring breakout player predictions at the start of the spring, and I've got that list. And I tell you what, I don't know if anyone that we picked, there's only might be one guy in the running for that right now. It's been an odd spring. I had Micah Gilbert, and obviously there's nothing you can do about an injury.
He does a great job of fake catching, like, ooh, put it away.
Because
they're not actually throwing on the ball.
Yep. Fill in the blank. Hannah Hidalgo made it official over the weekend. She's returning to Notre Dame next season. That's blank.
Great for the team. I hate that they have to announce it. Like, it's so silly that they have to announce that they're
Well, did you see the men's team? Like, everyone on the men's team they did like a social media announcement for everybody on the men's team over the weekend.
I mean, it's not that many, but yes, there was.
There were like 5 or 6.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, really, guys, do we have to announce? I mean, I realize that's the day and age that we're in, and the media speculation and everything that's out there. Like, I get it. It's just annoying that people have to be like, sophomore year loading, or that right. Phrase really, it gets on my nerves. First of all, I don't know why, but like, I'm locked in, sophomore year loading, Okay, got it.
I mean, obviously for Hannah, I mean, ultra important that she's coming back, because I mean, let's think about it. Before this other stuff happened, there, like the other transfers, like the big question was, is Hannah Hidalgo going to stay? And there were people worried that she was going to take off. And so obviously, especially because you have these other departures, it's even more important
I get
to get her back. But look, she's going to be probably the front runner for National Player of the Year, like one of the 2 or 3 front runners for National Player of the Year next year. It's probably going to be her, Betts from UCLA. Juju Watkins is going to miss most, if not all, of the season, so she won't be in the running for that. So like to have that, and when you're trying to attract other players now coming out of the portal, to have her as the anchor, like, you obviously can't overstate the importance of having a player of Hidalgo's caliber coming back.
Yep, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
USMA 87, what's the drama with Hidalgo and social media posts, Olivia firing back? Look, I'm not going to go too deep into all the drama about the social media posts, but there was apparently like an anti-LGBTQ something that she either reposted or liked or something. And, she, like, you can read her Players Tribune thing, where she did announce that she was coming back. She addresses it, a little bit in there. And
Hannah does. She's the one that addresses
it. Okay. Honestly, I hadn't heard about it until like late in the season that it even happened. So I don't know. And then he says Olivia firing back. I have no idea. I haven't seen Olivia Miles say anything. So
this is the first I'm hearing of any.
I don't know what that's all about. And, like social media spats, I really could not care less.
Those are
about.
Not, I shouldn't say fake. That was the word I was going to say. They're not fake, but they're dumb. Like, I don't know.
Kate Koval, in the meantime, announced today that she's going to LSU. What'd you think about that news?
I'll say the word that I sent you. Gross. Like, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. Obviously she's going to go someplace big because she's a big time recruit and she's a big body and can, it's great for her. You know what I mean? Just anywhere but there. Not anywhere. Anywhere but like 3 or 4 schools. And that's
one of the few places. Yeah. Like, I'm going to say I was shocked, like just that it ended up being LSU. I think that was a shock when you think about, Kim Mulkey obviously being down there and and everything else. And
I'm not a fan of hers.
Exactly. But it's a pretty quick decision to make for Kim as well.
She posted, I think today, like thanking Notre Dame and the whole deal. And then
she did the thank you over the weekend.
Oh, was it over the weekend? Okay.
Yeah, it was at least yesterday.
Okay.
It
felt like, and then it was quick. It was like, boom. And then now there's an announcement.
Feels like maybe that's why she got that out first.
Yeah,
like she did the thank you, which I felt was a little bit of a, if that's what, it didn't come across as, granted, she's only been here for a year, didn't come across as overly heartfelt by any means.
Right.
Yeah. But Sonia Citron said her goodbyes and thank yous to Notre
Yes.
Dame with her own social media post, a very long social media post that
Yes.
she made over the weekend. Here's part of what Citron said. Quote, "The culture Coach Ivey created helped mold me into the woman I am today and goes far beyond the basketball court. Her passion, her energy, and the genuine love that she has for her players is something I cherish. She leads with heart, and it's something I will always admire and carry with me. The love and support I received is a testament to the Notre Dame community and how truly special it is." End quote. So what did you think about that one from Citron?
That one felt heartfelt, right?
Yes,
I mean, she's
very.
because there's a lot of people questioning Niele Ivey, obviously, with everything that's going on, how the season ended, how many people are in the transfer portal, blah, 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 right? I like the fact that she's like, she's the one that made this experience for me. She is amazing, and I want to make sure people know that. And that she had a positive experience at Notre Dame. I mean, I know that that's silly, but it feels like with everything that people are saying right now that needed to be said. You know what I mean? Like that there's nothing wrong with this program. It's a great program. It's led by a great person and a great head coach. And I'm the person I am today because of it. Like, love that. Love it.
There was definitely some intention behind it.
Yes.
Because of all the stuff that has gone on. And there have been a lot of, like the culture thing has been, it's obviously since Olivia entered the portal last week, it has been a hot topic, so I think that there was definitely some intention with what Citron said. And I felt like it needed to be said, and I'm glad that she said it, because again, like you can have your own opinions on this whole thing, but everything, that I've seen, traveling with this team and, being on the planes and the buses and the airports and everything else, there's like culture has been one of the biggest things, one of the biggest assets of this program, starting with Niele Ivey and trickling on down through everybody else. And I have not seen anything. I did not see anything different this year that I've seen the previous years before it. And I don't think culture has anything to do with this. It just has more to do with differences of personalities and egos and, some of those things when you look at some of the specific things, that happened, I think.
Agreed.
Last week.
Wholeheartedly agree. Yeah, definitely some intentionality there. And good for her. It was a very mature thing to do, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I liked it. And
the head coach has always had the players back. So, I mean, one of the most prominent, like one of the first, commitments that Niele Ivey had, I felt like it, it was huge for the player to have her back publicly as well.
I liked what Marist, he retweeted it and he put a little thing out there too. And he basically said something along the lines of, it's sad that you will no longer be wearing a Notre Dame jersey, but I'm excited for the next one that you put on, that kind of a thing. Like that was a cool way to put it. Like I appreciated that too. So
especially if it's in Dallas, that would be very cool. But
that would be tough. That's the number one pick, and then 15 or something.
Got a feeling it's going to be Becker's going number one, and I don't think that Citron. I think 12 is
12.
Where Dallas has.
She's not going to drop that far. She might bump up to 2.
I know.
She might be going to Seattle. I think it was who has the number 2 pick.
Yeah. Tommy wants to know if we're going to discuss the IB basketball bracket. Vince, how is your bracket? Do you have a shot at winning?
Oh God, no. I had Duke winning it all, so obviously no more points can be gained for me personally. And my bracket was pretty much a disaster from the jump, so I did not do well. I'm pulling it up as we speak just to see how bad I actually did. So in the IB Nation Sports Talk, our group size was 60. There was 60 people that got in there. I am currently in 51st place, if that tells you anything.
Okay.
So not great.
It's probably somewhere around where I finished last year, if I remember right.
And the one I did at school, there were 7 people. It was like our little office pool. And you just can't come in last. If you come in last, you have to buy lunch for everybody. I came in 6th. Second to last. First winner.
There you go, baby.
So
there you go.
I'm happy. I was really getting nervous there for a minute.
Women's national championship game last night. Andre said no one expected UConn to beat South Carolina like that. I sure didn't, even though they beat
Not
them
like
the first
that.
time like that in the regular season. I didn't expect a repeat of that. But man, UConn they got much better as the season went along. That's obviously they were missing AZ Fudd at the start of the season and got her back. That game, though, tipped off, Vince, at 3:00 Eastern time. Sunday afternoon. Plenty of people who think that it needs to be a primetime game. In or out on keeping the tip time for the women's championship in the afternoon?
I'm out. I think it should be a primetime game. And the reason I say that is because I thought it was a primetime game. By the time I thought about it, the game was over. I was gonna throw it on, and kind of watch a little bit of it. It was a Sunday night, not a whole lot going on Sunday night. I was gonna throw it on, you know what I mean? And it was already over. I was like, oh, UConn won. Oh, okay. Missed it. All right. I think it should be at night. I think it should be in prime time. Most of the time on a Sunday, people are doing stuff in the afternoon and during the day. You know what I mean? You come back, you settle in, you watch Sunday night. That's what should have been.
If you can watch an NFL football game in the middle of a Sunday afternoon, you can watch a women's basketball national championship game. And I think we can all pretty much agree we'd prefer 3:00 in the afternoon to 9:00 at night, which,
Granted.
What's the over under on the time that they're actually going to tip this thing off tonight?
Yeah.
That's supposed to start at 9:00. I actually managed to stay up and watch that Houston Duke game until midnight Saturday night with Jesse when he was in town. That was freaking amazing. And I almost went to bed a couple of different times because I thought that, I think it was 2 minutes to go and Duke's up by 8 points. And it just felt like Houston could never get closer than 5. And then the next thing you know, boom, they're up and they win that thing.
Yeah.
Finished the game on a 9-0 run. That was amazing. Awesome. But
it was wild.
But I don't know if I want to stay up till midnight tonight to watch the
I will not be. I might be up till midnight, but I won't be watching the game. I'll be honest. I lost a lot of interest in that one once I knew my bracket was completely busted. And I'll be that guy. I like to root for underdogs and things like that. You got 4 number 1 seeds in the Final Four. Okay, maybe it's going to be really good basketball, but I don't have a rooting interest. I have to have a rooting interest in order to watch a game if my team is not in it, which obviously would be a rooting interest. I don't know. This year hasn't done it for me. I'll be honest. It hasn't done it for me. And Florida and Houston don't do it for me. So I doubt that I'll be watching, especially since I'm a single parent right now. So I will be taking care of the chillins. So.
Yeah, Salty was talking about the ratings, and I haven't seen the actual ratings. Nope, here it goes. UConn, South Carolina, the 3rd most watched women's basketball national championship game, or hold it. Third most watched women's national championship game of all time. It came in at 8.5 million viewers yesterday.
Okay.
Which is pretty solid. It was 4.9. It was more than the 4.9 million viewers that they brought in the same 2 teams in the national championship game in 2022. Last year's game, 18.9 million viewers. Of course, that was the Caitlin Clark effect. But I tell you what, 8.5 million is still very strong because the only 2 games that have topped it were the 2 national championship games that Clark and Iowa played in the last 2 years. So even though it's down, still a very strong number. So even though Caitlin Clark is gone, I think that the women's game still got, some carryover effect, some momentum from Caitlin Clark the last couple of years. So 8.9 million, still a really strong number. And it is in the middle of the afternoon. And, to the whole, do you put it in prime time? Look, they're putting it on ABC, which is good because it's on broadcast TV, so more people get a chance to see it. And ABC's got American Idol on Sunday night. That's the problem with Sundays. Sunday is a big, TV night.
Yep.
In terms of the shows that people want to see, and White Lotus, for example, would be competing with it on HBO. But
Salty
solid
says
number.
Salty, while we're talking about the men's tournament, it was all the number 1 seeds. We're not talking about the women's tournament. So just FYI.
What's he talking about now?
He said one of them was the number 2 seed.
UConn was a number 2 seed.
I'm talking about the men.
Oh, yeah.
The men, all number
all
ones.
All of the men were number ones.
Like
Women
that turns me off. Like I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't like it doesn't do anything unless, like I said, unless it came down to like a game for my bracket or whatever. My bracket was toast a long time ago. So like once there's no me in it anymore, like I'm out. So
right. Remington Jeans, thank you for the super chat. Is there any advantage in our first few games, given there is not much film on either one of the 3 potential starters at quarterback?
Well, that's where the whole experience thing comes into play. If Steve Angeli is the starter, they're going to know exactly what to do against Steve Angeli.
Yeah. So
is there an advantage if it's Minchie or Carr? Sure, because there's not a lot of film on either one of those guys, obviously. But it's not an advantage if Steve Angeli is the quarterback. Sorry.
Yeah, because there is film on Steve Angeli.
Right. So, and a decent chunk of it, everybody's all the experience. Well, he's got film. He's got film.
Yep.
Not good.
Brian says, Vince, I thought you had the Hillsdale spring game this week.
It is this week. Thank you for asking. I have elected to cover the Blue Gold game instead because
Dylan's not actually playing in this Hillsdale Springs game.
He may drive up on his own. And that's fine.
And if he does, he's just watching. He's not
correct.
Actually participating.
He's actually there now and will be taking in a spring practice tomorrow, getting fitted for equipment, all that fun stuff for the future. And I don't know, they're figuring out what cleats he's all that crap, right? So he's there doing that now with his mom, and I'm back here with the rest of the clan. So we're definitely going out to dinner, by the way.
Okay. Sounds good.
Dad's not doing the cooking.
Okay, so I watched a Val Kilmer movie this weekend. Of course, Val Kilmer passed away last week. The movie The Saint from 1997. Have you ever seen The Saint?
I feel like I saw it back then, but not recently enough to have like a comment on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I did see it though. I read about it, and it, fires some of the, the synapses in the brain.
Well, yeah, but
it's been a while.
I don't think I had ever seen it. And I was looking, after, we talked about him last week, and I did a search of Val Kilmer, and The Saint came up, and I was like, I've never seen The Saint. So I checked it out. Tracy likes that movie. And I had never seen it. It came out a year after Mission Impossible, and it's fairly similar in a lot of ways to Mission Impossible, except that, Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible is basically, like an undercover agent kind of guy. Whereas Val Kilmer was actually a thief, but he did a lot of the same things, a lot of disguises and stuff like that. One of the disguises, actually, he did a voice that was very similar to Tombstone, Doc Holliday, like a very similar, kind of character, but a lot of same beats as Mission Impossible. Easily could have been a franchise like Mission Impossible, but they never did a sequel. Elizabeth Shue was his co-star in it.
Now I'm gonna watch it,
and
that's all you had to say.
Talk about I was like very fixated on Elizabeth Shue.
That's all you had to say. Like
1997 Elizabeth Shue. Couldn't take my eyes off.
She was legit a crush for me back in the day. Yep. Like no doubt. Like Cocktail,
big time. And that's funny because like the whole cruise, so like Mission Impossible and The Saint, with Val Kilmer, very, very similar. But then you throw in the Shoe thing as well because of her, Cocktail with Tom Cruise, and there were some similar beats there as well as far as the love interest and some of that
now I'm gonna watch
kind of stuff. She gets jilted, they get back together, the whole thing.
Yeah, now I'm definitely gonna watch it, and it's free on Peacock. I will be watching that movie.
But what really struck me, the reason I'm bringing this up is because Val Kilmer, toward the end of the movie, he did something that reminded me of something that they did in Top Gun Maverick. Do you remember Warlock in Top Gun Maverick? You know, like during the mission at the end, you know, when they have to go complete the mission and Warlock's going, that's miracle number 1. That's miracle number 2.
Yep.
That's miracle number 3. Val Kilmer does the exact same thing. He's like counting off. He's like miracle number 1, miracle
Really?
number 2. And then they went to miracle number 2 because as soon as he said it, I'm like, I wonder if like Top Gun Maverick, you know, like
homage,
did a little homage. And then it took a little while, but finally he goes, that's miracle number 3. And in both, it was 3 miracles.
3 things. Yeah.
It felt like to me, like maybe they did a little homage with that in Top Gun Maverick.
I dig it.
Obviously he was still alive, but he had the throat cancer
Yeah.
and, you know, like they worked him into the storyline, but I don't know. It had me wondering. It definitely stood out. I thought it was kind of cool. If they actually did that, very cool. So
I'm in. That's all you had to say. Well, all you had to say was Elizabeth Shue, but I'm in either way. Sounds like a good one.
The plot of the movie, like, just remind yourself you're watching it for Val Kilmer and entertainment. And like the plot of the movie, it's like very hard to follow.
Okay.
Very hard to follow. But
okay, gotcha.
Like, especially like when he's doing the disguises and stuff like that, that's like that and the Elizabeth Shue, 2 best parts of it. And I'd say the last hour definitely kicks a little bit harder than the first hour. So, but it's worth it. Again,
I'm in.
Rest in peace, Val Kilmer.
Sad.
Tough beat. All right. Well, that's going to do it for today. We enjoyed kicking the quarterbacks down the road.
I have a feeling we're going to continue talking about them for quite some time.
Got a feeling you're right. I got a feeling a week from today we're going to be talking about them as well. After the Blue Gold game.
It's going to be post Blue Gold game. Yeah, we definitely will be. Yep.
All right. Appreciate you guys as always. Thank you very much, Joe, and thanks everyone else as well. Yep, Chuck nailing it. Shue was in Back to the Future 2 and 3. She stepped in after the original.
Yes.
I can't think of her character's name, but she was gone.
Jennifer.
After the first one. Jennifer. Yeah.
Jennifer. Big Back to the Future fan right here. So,
yeah. All right. Hit the like button before you leave. We do appreciate you. Ooh, drink the wine. There you go. Good one, Clontarf. We'll talk to you later on IB Nation Sports Talk.